There you are. Hi.
Hi. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow. Not kidding. Just kidding.
Glad to have you with us once again on this fine Wednesday morning as we cruise through the middle of the week, and the weather's absolutely gorgeous here in the capital area. I think
pretty.
Across most of South Louisiana as well. Mm-hmm. Why is it always the most beautiful weather takes place right after the worst nature can throw at us?
I have no idea. Maybe we got to talk to one of those meteor guys. One of those guys that falls from the sky in a flame? No, that's not it.
Uncharacteristic for us to go right at sports, but there is some sports news afoot, including the Saints talking with LSU about bringing Saints home games to Tiger Stadium because Mayor Cantrell doesn't want to have any home games in the Dome.
This is going to be one of these. It's what I call a paintbrush. LaToya is going to get slapped on this one because
I don't know if they're serious.
Oh,
they just want to get the mayor off of her butt.
No, LSU is talking with them and is agreeing to it.
It's been done before after Hurricane Katrina. Let's do it again.
People in Baton Rouge are willing to buy tickets. After Katrina, we went to a couple games at Tiger Stadium to watch the Saints. Yeah, and it was a ball. So I mean, this is going to be what we call an object lesson. But that is not the news that I have right now. Check this out.
This is LSU news.
The University of Florida has suspended athletic activities because five football players tested positive for the coronavirus. They are not practicing today. They are not practicing tomorrow. And it is possible that the LSU game at Gainesville at 3 p.m. may not be played at all. Now, the Florida Alligator, which is their student newspaper, reported that 19 players on the football team tested positive for COVID-19. That report was confirmed by the Associated Press. Now, that was before the 5 additional players that tested positive late on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. So here we go. Teams have to have 53 scholarship players available to be able to play under NCAA rules. There have to be 7 scholarship offensive linemen, including at least 1 center available, 1 quarterback, and 4 defensive linemen in those 53 scholarship positions.
So what you're saying is that Florida has a lack of quorum.
They may. Nobody has done the actual count yet. But if they have more people showing symptoms over the next couple days, mm-hmm. I have a feeling that they may want to pull the plug.
What would they do if they had 19 players had the flu? They'd play.
Well, but if they couldn't play because they were ill and they didn't match the 4 offensive linemen, 1 quarterback, they would have to try to reschedule or declare it no contest that it didn't happen.
So do they forfeit the game because they can't play and it's an LSU win technically?
No.
Or does it just go up as not stats?
No contest.
Okay.
No contest. But it's going to be very, very interesting. This is the first time it has gotten this bad.
I didn't know you could plead no contest in the NCAA. Yeah. Your Honor?
Your Honor?
We're up against Alabama. No contest.
No contest. or what we call, or used to call, the Missouri plea. Not anymore. Mm-hmm. Or the Vanderbilt plea. Not anymore.
No, not so much.
Or the Mississippi State plea. Not anymore. But anyway, it's going to be very interesting. The SEC has been extremely circumspect about this. Their medical committee, which is made up of independent physicians and all the team physicians, put together a protocol, and they have all followed it very, 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 very carefully. I think more so than any of the other major conferences. Mm-hmm. And so to have this many tests, I think is probably, I'm pretty sure it's shaking up University of Florida. But I bet the whole SEC is going, what happened here?
Thought we were over this thing.
Now, we've got this
We
big...
knew there was going to be a fall wave of infections. I mean, people started talking about that in March, for God's sakes, that they expected a second wave in the fall.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Florida, like all the other SEC schools, has been watching very carefully and trying to do it very, very right. So one of the players, two of the players might have kind of broken the protocol, because it is on the honor system at night when they're on their own.
Of course it is.
But, or the dishonor system, depending on your point of view. But, 19-year-olds on the honor system. Willie Sutton, why do you rob banks? Because that's where the money is.
Yeah.
So, anyway, we will see what happens. Nowhere in this very lengthy story, I was paraphrasing for you, nowhere does it say when they will make a final determination.
Well, they've got to pull the trigger on this thing soon.
Well, I mean, LSU has got a giant airplane chartered. They've got trucks probably ready to leave for Gainesville with all their equipment.
What about the broadcasting equipment?
Oh, yeah.
Broadcasters are going to want to know not to go.
ESPN is probably already there. Well, no, this is Wednesday. They'll be there tomorrow with all their trucks and all that.
Somebody better make the call sometime this afternoon.
Yeah. You want to be the one making that call?
Nope.
I don't want to be the one making that call.
That's a multi-million-dollar call right there, buddy. Nope.
I hate to say this. It could save a big embarrassment for LSU's defense. Just saying.
Going to take our first break of the hour. Later on this hour, we're going to talk about how's the fourth quarter shaping up as far as your investment opportunities, your fiscal opportunities. Helen Graf from Graf Financial will be our guest. We're going to talk some money.
Money, 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 money.
Quick break, and we'll be right back with more of Exiles TV.
Taste the feeling. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Exiles TV, Bill Profit over there, and I'm Kevin Gallagher. So what shall we talk about now, mister?
Well, I think this is a woman who is due a little tribute. Conchata Ferrell passed away last night at the age of 77.
Which is not all that old when you think about it.
I mean, she was a high mileage broad, you can tell, you know. She lived life big. But
Conchata Ferrell's a character actress that you've seen in everything. Probably best known for her recent role as Berta, the housekeeper, on Two and a Half Men. That show folded up to Tense in 2015. But, of course, it's seen daily in reruns on Paramount Network. So.
Probably every cable system in America has 2.5 Men.
What I loved about Berta, she was always the voice of reason, but she also was the voice of I don't care.
Yeah.
Which I just love people that they have the internal fortitude to just go, I don't care. I don't want to talk about it.
She also had some major roles in some huge films like Erin Brockovich. She has been around a very, very long time. You were looking at her IMDb. Do you still have that up?
Yeah, I got it right up. It goes all the way back. The first thing she ever appeared in on the Internet Movie Database is an appearance on Maude, 1974. And from there, it's like 4, 5, 6 appearances on television series every year. She never had, I'm through 1981, 82, she never had a period of inactivity.
Well, and you
she
said
was always in demand.
she did 23 episodes of ER in
Yep.
what, the 84, 85 season?
Yeah, she was Nurse Thor. You remember Nurse Thor? I watched that show. I loved it.
That's a lot of episodes
Yep.
because I think they only shot 20 a season.
23.
Did they shoot 23?
23 a season, so that means that she was a seasonal character. She was on for the entire arc of the season, more or less, only missed a couple of episodes. Then not long after ER, where, by the way, she played a woman, a big woman who was to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
Previously, putting it bluntly, fat women were to be laughed at on television for years and years and years. She did the same kind of a role on LA Law just a few years later, playing an absolutely vicious attorney that was known for, doing whatever it takes to win.
She had a wonderful voice.
Oh, yeah.
She had that kind of smart, broad voice. You know what I'm talking about? Heads would snap with the first syllable.
It's funny you should mention the voice because in her IMDb there's a lot of animation where she was hired because of her voice. So we won't see her like again anytime soon, but a great body of work spanning 30 some odd years. She was tremendous. 20 some odd years anyway. Conchata Ferrell.
Charlie Sheen had put this on his Facebook. An absolute sweetheart, a consummate pro, a genuine friend, a shocking and painful loss, and then a message to her as her character. He said, Berta, your housekeeping was a tad suspect, but your people keeping was perfect. So, again, one of those that I always enjoyed watching.
No, I want to say one more thing about LA Law, the character she played on LA Law. It was also one of the first times a network TV show portrayed someone as a big, beautiful woman. She did have a beautiful face. She was large, but she was portrayed on LA Law as a big, beautiful woman, one who was impeccably dressed all the time and was desired by men. I think it was not only the face, but they were attracted to her power. Yeah. But God rest Conchata Ferrell, 77 years of age.
It's we're going to see more of these. We have a lot of people that were among the second wave of big stars in television and radio, television and movies, that are kind of aging out. And it's going to be very, very interesting as we watch who passes away from us in coming months and years. Before we go to the break, did you watch the mayoral debate last night?
I did.
I did too.
I was thoroughly entertained. Not by what you might think.
I give it 5 smiley faces and that round emoji with the tears coming out of its eyes because you're laughing so hard.
I don't want to get big into criticizing the host TV station.
I'll take care of that for you.
But there were some things I didn't like about the show and it's the forum and its format. I did not like what they called their lightning round of questions.
Oh my God.
Where it was all in favor, raise your hands, all opposed. That just was.
I mean,
it was infantile.
Do you want police to have a raise?
Yeah. Who likes chocolate ice cream? I just thought it was silly.
Did you remember to kiss your mama last time you saw her?
And it was time spent where we could have heard maybe substantial answers about substantial questions. And I thought for the most part, the line of questioning was just kind of simplistic and covered the surface. It was like scraping the icing off the cake, but leaving the cake on the plate.
It was lightweight and Bush League. It really was.
And there was no opportunity that I saw to call somebody on their answer. You know, I mean, that's what makes a debate a debate. That's what makes a candidates forum entertaining to watch, is when you have two candidates that are in disagreement and you get to see that.
Well, they didn't want to debate. They made that clear. But here's the whole thing. And we've had him on the show. I've enjoyed him when he's been on the show.
Steve Carter on yesterday.
But Eric Gerard saying, you know, I want to merge the sheriff's department and the police department. Nobody said the mayor of Baton Rouge does not have that authority. The sheriff is a constitutional office. I want to change the funding for education.
State.
You cannot do that. I want specific driver's licenses for Baton Rouge. And nobody, you know, and of course, maybe they didn't know, because they kind of look like animatronic characters to me, the moderators. They didn't say, can we talk about what the mayor can do, sir? That's not within the purview of the mayor. It reminded me of a high school sophomore's class first attempt at a mock forum.
On that note, though, Bill, you don't necessarily want the moderators to say, excuse me, that's not in the purview of the mayor, because then what you wind up with is what we wound up with in the first presidential debate. You wind up with the moderator debating one of the candidates. So I understand why the moderators didn't open up and said, not the responsibility of the mayor, not within the power of the mayor. You know, just let them speak their piece.
But that's not a debate. But they did have a forum where it was question and answer. And it is no different to me if you ask Mr. Gallagher, what is your favorite color? And
blue.
And you say pelican.
Blue.
No, you say pelican. Then
pelican blue.
If I'm running the forum, I should say, that is not an answer to the question I asked you.
I don't see anything wrong with that. Please, you haven't answered the question yet.
Yeah.
I thought that the mayor did well, but I felt like, I don't want to call her a liar. Let's just say maybe not as honest as some of the answers could have been.
Well, I think she couched it from the position of an incumbent, and I don't blame her for that. I thought that Jordan Piazza scored some points. I thought Matt explained his blight plan very well, Matt Watson.
Yes.
I thought C. Denise Marcel got a little lost in economic development when she was talking about lifting up small business.
You gotta lift people up. Like,
I think a lot of people didn't understand a lot of people didn't understand what she was saying. Eric Gerard did plug his website a lot.
Yeah.
He got that in.
If he was looking for hits, he probably got that covered.
I have to tell you, and I mean, God bless them for trying. God bless them for trying. Mm-hmm. But I thought I was watching a 9th grade class being led by a really inept teacher.
I didn't think that the candidates were enjoying what they were involved in.
Well, no. I mean,
they all looked kind of embarrassed to be there.
It's like going to Ruth's Chris, sitting at the table, and they say, all we've got left is chicken nuggets.
I want to say
it was terrible.
I think in their own way, each one of them did well.
Yeah.
Except maybe Gerard.
Well, he did well for what he wanted to do.
He presented his thoughts and his plans well, but I think that it was
lightweight.
It was Bush League.
Bush League, and I mean even the camera work. 3 times there was a blonde woman's head on the right side of the screen when they were trying to shoot the candidates that were basically stage right.
Before we go to breaks, we got to go. But the one question I want to ask is, I noticed that the mayor would keep turning her head, and she was like looking at the camera, but then she'd be turning her head. Was she looking at the moderators, or did she have cue cards?
No, I think she was actually. I think they had, because they had them so spaced out, I think they had a room monitor, 2 speakers set on that side, and you know how there's that little tiny bit of delay?
Yep.
It'll catch your ear a little bit.
Well, it was interesting, but I don't think that it really revealed much of anything about anybody last night.
Well, you know, God bless them. No,
I love when Bill gets all like this.
Here, let me put it.
Oh my God!
Let me put it in a way that Southern people can understand. Bless their hearts.
That's good.
Bless their hearts.
Let's take another commercial break. When we return, Fourth quarter, what's it shaping up to be, especially for those of you with money and investments? What do you want your investments, your money to do for you? Helen Graf is here to answer those questions next on Exiles TV.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Surprise, something good has finally happened in 2020. Yours truly, the Clarence Bugg Show, gets to be with you every day of the week. That's right, 11 to 12 every weekday. And of course, the Exiles right in front of yours truly from 10 to 11, yours truly 11 to 12. So now it's appointment viewing. 5 days a week here on the Pelican. The Clarence Bugg Show. The only thing missing is you.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Right now, during the Team Honda Upgrade event, get a new 20 Accord Sport for just $309 a month with no money down, no first payment, and no security deposit. It's time to upgrade to your new Honda at Louisiana's #1 new car dealer, Team Honda on Segan Lane.
Glad to have you back for Exiles TV. Bill Profita over there. I'm Kevin Gallagher. And the nice lady in the middle is Helen Graf with Graf Financial. We're going to talk with her about fourth quarter investment opportunities. How's it looking? But first...
Yeah, I want to take a moment to talk to you about one of the constitutional amendments that you will be seeing on your ballot on November 3rd. This is amendment number 4. Are you tired of the endless roller coaster of fiscal cliffs? On November 3rd, change that and vote yes on Constitutional Amendment 4. Yes on 4 means a stable budget process and job growth for Louisiana. Vote yes on Constitutional Amendment 4. This message paid for by Pelican Action. For more information, visit pelicanaction.org. And we thank you for your attention to that. Now then, Helen Graf of Graf Financial. Helen is a financial advisor and manager, and everybody's wondering, we got all kinds of things. We've got the alleged COVID recovery. We've got the ramping up of the markets, both nationally and internationally. We've got an election cycle. So what's the forecast for the fourth quarter? And at this point, I don't know is a valid answer, I think.
That's what I was going to start out with. You don't know. So when you don't know, you start looking at probabilities, and that's what you take a look at. And we are managing COVID better now than we have beforehand. But you're not going to, until you get a vaccine and rapid testing, the ability to see if somebody's a carrier, since we don't know who's a carrier and who's not, it's going to take those two items to really clear all the clouds economically.
So, but we are ramping back up. The airline industry, which took major hits, is coming back, which means the hospitality industry is going to come back. And you have a lot of publicly traded companies beside American, United Continental and Delta and Southwest. You've got the Hilton Hotel Group, which is huge. You've got Marriott Bonvoy. You've got restaurants that are high dollar restaurants but are also part of a chain or an association like Ruth's Chris. Are investors going back to these right now, or should they wait a little while longer?
When you're a value investor, you look at the ones that are going to hold on. So this can be an opportunity for buying some of the more stable ones, especially if they have good balance sheets. If they've got, one of the key parts is having a lot of cash around to be able to be survivable. So cash and good balance sheets are really the name of the game for the service industry. The service industry is, and some people have two views on this, but I think we want to get back to those conventions and get back to one-on-one relationships and get back to the point where we're having those water cooler conversations where they actually create ideas, as opposed to Zooming where you can't really read everybody's language and really have what do you think about this types of conversations. So I don't think that's dead, but I think it's going to take a while to get back.
There's a lot of talk, especially a couple of amusing TV commercials about buying the dips. You see the one with the where they're selling dips at auction, but it seems to me there's a lot of dips right now. There are a lot of good, low cost buy, and don't mention any names, of course. Just give us a couple of tips off the air.
Off the air, right?
But are there a lot of dips right now to take advantage of?
Well, let me go back and kind of put this in perspective. The market went down. It was in a high, like the end of February. It went to a low on March the 23rd. And then it's come back. The S&P is higher than it was before it went down. However, that's driven by 5 stocks. And so you've got this whole other field of stocks to go hunting in. Some are higher, some are lower. And then you have the component of the low interest rates, and those are pushing prices of stocks higher as well. So that begs for caution. You got to do your homework and to know what you're buying and to make sure it can sustain itself, and then looking for growth on the other side of this, because this has been one of those economic changing periods of time where we were in an evolutionary stage to start out with going to tech and those sorts of things, but we just compressed 5 years into 6 months. And so everybody's uncertain as to how those changes land. That's not clear. You don't invest when you have clarity. You invest when you can measure the odds.
One of the things that I've always been interested in is there are certain factors that have always happened, in our American life that have impacted some publicly traded companies in a very generous way. How high is there a ceiling for something like a Netflix or an Amazon Prime? Or do they just keep going and going and going and going because people are consuming it so voraciously?
This is a huge question right now, but I would say history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. And,
I like that.
do you remember the term Nifty 50?
Yeah.
Okay. How many of those stocks are sitting at the top of the heap right now?
None.
0.
Yeah.
So, yes, you have these high flyers. They were part of this evolutionary economic strategy into buying online, which has another component which I think is kind of humorous. But buying online and all those sorts of things. So it's not going to be that so much. It's going to be taking those technological changes and pushing them down into other industries like manufacturing and healthcare. Now you've got telehealth and things like that. So we're in an evolutionary period, and we just don't know how it's going to
Well, you talk about those nifty 50s, and I remember that was when I first had a little money to mess with. A lot of them were very, very big when they were making that meteoric climb in splitting.
Yep.
And it wasn't 1 for 1, it was 2 for 1 or 3 for 1, which meant they were putting more securities into the pie. I don't see Amazon and Netflix doing that.
But one of the problems that you've had now is you haven't had the splits. You've had buyouts. So a couple years ago, you might have had 8,000 listed stocks or something like that. We're down to about 3,500, 4,000 listed stocks right now. And now you've got about 11,000 funds. So everybody's buying the same stuff. There really does need to be a separation. Now you've got these SPACs coming to market, these special acquisition companies. It's evolving too, the way companies come to market. But there needs to be more supply of companies that you have access to in the market.
Telecommunications, entertainment, that's all narrowed down to where it's now just a handful of owners that have it all.
Right.
That makes it a little scary to me. Does that make it a little scary to the investment world?
It's unhealthy. You like monopolies, like a utility or something like that, because they can control the market. On the other hand, competition breeds some success on other sides, and so you have a growing component. You can latch on to that, and it forces other people to change as well. They don't get stayed in their opinions. So it's just part of the evolutionary process, and this is just one that we're watching like a train wreck.
Helen, I'm curious about your methods, and again, no names, but let's say you're watching International Widgets Inc. and they got a good trend going. Do you call your clients up and say, International Widgets Inc., let's put your money there, or do you wait for them to come to you and say, what do you think about IW?
No, I'm a little bit different. I'm not a broker-dealer. I'm a registered investment advisor, so I have discretion over client accounts. So we agree on how they're managed before I put money in. Then I have the discretion to make the choices given their risk profile. So I'm matching equities and bonds, and we decide on an asset allocation in a portfolio, as opposed to somebody who's going out and selling you the newest, greatest idea.
Well, yeah, I mean,
you're not Flavor of the Month Club.
No, I'm not.
No, when I was a young man and I wasn't married and I didn't have a mortgage and I had some money to invest, I worked with Legg Mason Howard Weil, a very good company, but I would get 3 calls a week saying, hey, you want to look at this stock, you maybe want to sell out of this one and buy this one. And this was during the age of churning. I'm not saying that they were churning, but it sometimes felt that way, where you and I agree in advance, here's my money, you do what you think is best according to the goals we've agreed upon.
I'm going to call it an investment whisperer. I translate what you're telling me about your risk profile into a portfolio. So you don't know necessarily how to do that or what to look for or what the risks are. And actually, if you're about 61% right, you're doing well. So the thing is to be able to translate that into client portfolios individualized to suit their own needs.
Now, you talked about the tremendous number of mutual funds. And a lot of these funds are owned by investor brokers. That always made me feel a little funny. Should I?
No, not necessarily. I mean, they're registered and all, and they sell them to pension funds and all this kind of stuff. And what they do is they'll put in a whole bunch of stocks into a fund, and they slice and dice these all different ways. ETFs have come out and done the same thing. They can be sector. There's 11 sectors. Or they can, here's the healthcare sector, here's the energy sector, here's the this. So you can buy that. So now you're buying this broad swath of stocks that are in that particular portfolio.
So you diversify by your purchases inside the fund.
And it's doing that. But the thing is, that fund is trading. We picked up one that had a Japanese futures fund in it, and its turnover was 600%. It was buying and selling the same fund all the time. So you've got to know what's in the fund and how it's acting, and a lot of people don't go into the prospectus and look at that to see what it's doing.
This question, I made a note a couple of weeks ago when I saw this on television in an ad. I think it might have been Schwab, but they're now selling stock slices.
I was going to bring that up.
Fractions. How do you feel about that?
I think it's great. I think it's fantastic because they haven't split. It used to be that in the brokerage firm, and they've crushed commissions too as well. And so what you would buy is 100 shares of stock. It would have a 2.5% in, 2.5% out, and that's how the brokers made their money, more or less. So now what they've done is commissions have gone to zero. They're making the money when they buy the stocks in the back market, the bid-ask spread, and things like that. So Schwab was the first one to come out with this. Let's cut these shares into fractional shares. Now for $50, now you have a piece, maybe you have a piece of all the FANG stocks, the big five. So it's a way of splitting it in another direction.
Well,
It also opens up investing to people
Absolutely.
that don't roll quite as high.
Yeah, exactly.
you don't
And
have to
that's
buy
what
that
it's
round
about.
lot anymore.
Exactly. And the commissions are not. Yeah.
We are going to continue, and we're going to talk about different sectors of the economy in the fourth quarter with Helen Graf from Graf Financial. You stay where you are. We'll be back in a moment on Exiles TV. Yeah, I missed that.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
By all standards, he is a champion for consumers. Because of Public Service Commissioner Eric Scrametta, our utility rates are 35% less than the national average, the lowest in all of America. He saved ratepayers over $8 billion. Commissioner Scrametta brought us more reliable power plants and energy-efficient solar fields. Public Service Commissioner Eric Scrametta. Keep the commissioner who keeps our rates low.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with the Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
This is Exiles TV. Glad to have you along with us. A reminder, we're here every day now from 10 to 11, and right after us every day
Clarence
from
Bugs.
11 to noon. The one, the only, Clarence Bugs. So we're glad to have you along with us. Tell your friends. We are talking about the economic forecast for all of us. with Helen Graf of Graf Financial. And Helen, let's talk about, as people recover economically, some of the sectors that they should be asking their advisor about. Let's start with medical. I mean, medical has got to be top of the charts right now.
Yeah. Medical is, they're spending a lot of money, they're doing a lot of research, they're playing well together, especially with the COVID situation. And that's where a lot of innovation and growth and support is.
Now, what about energy?
Well,
Not so much?
you know, energy's interesting. You are in an evolutionary period, but I drive to Texas periodically, and I'm not parking at Starbucks for 8 hours charging a battery. I want to go in, stop for 20 minutes, and I'm on my way. So we're not. My point is that we're not going to make that turn overnight. And right now, the markets are pricing in. We're making that turn overnight. Now, remember, you're not fueling all the aircraft you were fueling, and that's a lot, and internationally. So that's a lot of demand that's dried up. And and people are a little bit more out on the roads in this, so it's creeping up, but it's priced in at a panic level.
Well, and again, if you think about it, as a matter of perspective, 6%, if you buy a commonly traded stock like Johnson & Johnson and you buy more than 6%, you have to declare that you have a controlling interest in the company. Now, I'm telling you this because 6% of the top of those towers at Exxon and Shell and Chevron and Phillips Conoco, 6% used to go into passenger airliners. So they were basically controlling a big part of the fuel market.
Yeah, a very significant part of the fuel market.
So they're not there anymore.
And and once again, that goes back to our beginning conversation about groups meeting and travel and things like that. People are discounting business travel. It may not be what it was beforehand, but I don't think it's totally going away. I think it's going to come back. I think there's going to be a need when you're looking at contracts and projects for people to meet. So I think there's more room for it to come back than people are giving it credit for.
It would seem we've relied on tech a lot during this COVID. So tech stocks, are they soaring like an eagle? Or?
Well, not all. Some are, some aren't. And there are places that you can go shopping in the tech world. But wouldn't this have been an interesting experiment without tech?
Well, if I'd have bought a bunch of stock in, say, Zoom about 5 years ago, I'd think I'd be sitting pretty right now.
But I wouldn't. That's speculation. That is what you do with your gambling money. Speaking of which, some of the market has been driven by gamblers. They haven't had sports to bet on. So some of those sports bettors have come into the market and done option writing and things like that, which is speculation. It's not investing.
Well, speaking of that, and in
that seems frivolous, dangerous.
In the whole entertainment genre, even though they haven't had a whole lot of people in their buildings for the last 6 months, the major gambling concerns have still got a lot of cash on their books, and they look pretty healthy. I mean, I think Penn National is traded.
Penn National.
I think Caesars is traded publicly, right?
Yeah, I can't remember about Caesars because I think there was a buyout or they were talking about that.
But anyway.
But those aren't stocks that I'm particularly interested in or fields that I'm particularly interested in. But they could have cash because in a way, it's kind of like insurance companies. They're not in the business to lose money.
Right.
And so the odds are always with the house in a gambling casino. So how do you want to bet on that? I'm not a betting person, I'm an investing person. So
let's talk about the entertainment sector outside of gambling. We're talking about television, we're talking about movies, and again, these companies, these production companies, were huge in terms of, I mean, Walt Disney, ABC, ESPN, that's all one company. Time Warner, CNN, Universal, NBC Universal, how are they going to do? Because I don't think they carried a whole lot of cash going into this.
Well, Disney is doing pretty well. In fact, the other night, some friends have a Disney Plus and we watched Hamilton, which was fabulous. But I think they're going to come out of this better than you think because people are still interested in content. The problem they've got right now is they don't have fresh content. They haven't been able to do the production. There are several things that I watched that got cut off half season that weren't able to produce. And now as New York City, where they do some of the productions, that's getting back up and running. As these cities recover, those productions will go back.
See, it occurred to me in about 2 weeks, 3, we're going to go into what television stations and networks call their fall sweeps, and they've got nothing to market for fall sweeps. So they're, one of their key ratings periods in November is going to be a no-show for them because they got nothing.
Yeah. Now, what about the service industry? I don't know what percentage of the service industry is publicly traded, but I'm thinking it's a fair percentage. And service industry goes into big business management firms that you can buy stock in, things like that. Service industry has been half in, half out of the water for the last 6 months.
Well, more out than in.
Yeah, so where are they as we come into?
They're struggling. The service industry is struggling. Once again, that goes, the big restaurant chains, like in New York City, the big ones. The big restaurant chains that have been able to service your drive-through windows and things like that, those have survived fairly well. But a lot of that service industry goes from anything from big hotel chains with conventions down to your individual restaurant owner. And so the further you're down in that you've got rent to pay, you've got employees that you had to lay off, how do you make your money? Are you inventive in some form or another? Are you changing your business model? So there are a lot of questions, and a lot of that service industry, this country has become more service oriented and less manufacturing oriented, so we are more, that part got hurt the worst, and we're feeling that, those everyday business owners.
Speaking of manufacturing, companies like Boeing, now they were having some serious financial straits before all this. They said they shut down the 747 line.
Right.
They put the big 787 Dreamliner line on pause. If Boeing suffers a major financial problem, it's going to impact thousands of not small businesses, large businesses in this country. What is the forecast right now for a company like Boeing?
Like Boeing? Well, on the pro side, Boeing is one of the 2 worldwide major aircraft manufacturers, period, paragraph. So they're going to be manufacturing, and they've got a military component to them. So that's another component. But so far as manufacturing, you've got all these parked planes right now. You've got to absorb that before their production line is slowed incredibly. It's interesting that not too long before this happened, Boeing was the best performing stock for about 3 or 4 years running.
It was, yeah.
And so now you have this total implosion of everything that could go wrong has gone wrong for Boeing. So those are the kind of, when you're investing, those are the kind of risk factors. What's my worst case scenario that you have to look at? And that's a perfect example of everything going wrong right at about the same time.
We've only got a couple of minutes left, but the Boeing question made me, I just read the other day that Boeing is considering manufacturing planes in like South Carolina for the first, Seattle has been it for them.
Yeah, Renton, Washington's been it.
But now with all the unrest in Seattle, Boeing is looking at possibly starting to move their operations out of that area. My question for you is about the unrest in certain key cities. How has this, has this directly affected investing?
Not so much. Not as much as you would think it is. If you're a big enough company, you have ways to adapt, and you always are moderating your risk. So in other words, that's a perfect moderation example of, I'm not going to be 100% all in one place. I'm going to hedge my risk and put something someplace else.
Helen, we have 1 minute left. If someone wants to get advice, what should they do? What's the phone call or email they should send to you or to someone else?
Well, we've got info@graffinancial.com, or you look up Graf Financial, and our phone number's right there, and just give us a buzz.
That's GRAF Financial and info@graffinancial.com.
Right.
Well, We will see what we will see financially, and I'm sure we're going to have you back on in a month or two and see what, because we don't know what shoe is going to drop next.
No, we don't.
We will be back with another few minutes of the show for you in just a moment on Exiles TV. A reminder, the replay at 10 o'clock tonight. Every night that you see us, every day you see us live, there's a replay at 10 o'clock at night. And of course, you can always find us on YouTube about 3 hours after the show. Back in just a moment on Exiles TV. Stick around. Good show.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Fruget Jr., and I am a general dentist at Fruget Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Right now, choose any new 20 Mazda and get 0% for 60 months, plus 90 days deferred payments during the Team Mazda upgrade event happening now at Team Mazda on Airline.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Bugg Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Take it back. No, I'm kidding. Hi, welcome back to Exiles TV. Bill Profit over there, Kevin Gallagher here. We got just a few minutes left with you before the show's over, and we give way to Mr. Clarence Buggs.
In just a few moments, I want to talk to you a little bit about one of the amendments that is on your ballot on November 3rd, and that would be Constitutional Amendment number 4. So, are you tired of the endless roller coaster of fiscal cliffs?
I am.
On November 3rd, change that and vote yes on Constitutional Amendment number 4. Now, yes on 4 means a stable budget process and job growth for Louisiana. Vote yes on Constitutional Amendment 4. This message paid for by Pelican Action. For more information, visit pelicanaction.org, and we thank you for giving that a look. So, Saints at Tiger Stadium.
Yeah, it's happened before.
All right, here's the quote.
I think it would be a great message to send to LaToya Cantrell that we will go up to LSU and we will make some gate money and we will continue without you or your dome.
It's kind of like that old joke that goes, you strongly worded message to follow. Mm-hmm. Now here is a statement from Greg Bensel of the Saints. We can confirm that our game operations staff is meeting with LSU officials today to discuss potentially hosting future Saints home games at Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge. LSU has been gracious and enthusiastic regarding hosting our future games, and we are very much appreciative of their partnership. We have also discussed the possibility of moving our home games to LSU with the NFL, and they are aware of our exploring this option. Obviously, our overwhelming preference is to play our games in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome with partial fan attendance, but there's been no indication from the city on when or if this might be approved. So there you have it. Ball's in your court, LaToya.
It's almost like she wants the Saints to move to another city. Every few years we go through this where we're afraid we're going to lose the New Orleans Saints. And whether you hate football or love football, it's undeniable that having a pro sports franchise, especially a pro football franchise, is a good thing for your city.
Oh, God, it's huge. And here's the thing. I just think that she doesn't get it.
I think there's a lot she doesn't get.
The state had to move in and say, you know what, not your call, not your building. That is a state property, and you can have spectators in there.
Her and John Bell Edwards are in lockstep. Yeah, shut it down, close it down, keep
But
it
no,
closed.
John Bell said you can have 25% capacity. She's the one who said no.
Then he should get the Trump vote, because as you said, that, pardon the phrase, he should get the Trump vote because that's a state building. It's not a New Orleans City facility.
And again, he should enforce his own laws, kind of like we've said in the past, and his own decrees. That wraps it up for us for today. Thanks so much for joining us. Clarence
Appreciate
Bugs coming your way in just a matter of moments. Want you to be safe and enjoy this beautiful, beautiful weather. Going to be nice for a couple more days in South Louisiana. But stay well, stay safe, and we will see you tomorrow at this time.
Real quick, I want to get this in. Email either one of us, bill@exilestv.com or Kevin@exilestv.com. Always love to hear from you. God bless.